We're at Shenington, just south of the Midlands, for the Annual Superprix, one of the biggest club karting events in the UK. And you can be sure of one thing, there's going to be plenty of race action. Joining me is the secretary of the Shenington Kart Racing Club. It's Graham Smith. Graham, the Superprix this weekend, for those that haven't seen it before, tell us all about it and tell us a little bit of history of the club here at Shenington.
Yes, well, we started the Superprix in the year 2000 when it was our 40th anniversary, and now of course we're at our 56th anniversary, which is fantastic for the club. And so in 2000 we put on the Superprix for the first time. We had historic kart demonstrations. They've grown and grown. And we have marquees up for the historic karts to be displayed, and we have another one where we put on a pig roast and live music and everything like that. So it's a tremendously big meeting.
And you've got the E-plate here this weekend for most of the classes as well. For those that don't know anything about that, just explain how that came about. I think it started last year very successfully.
So this is our second year where most of the classes win the E-plate, which can be used anywhere in the country for the next 12 months for the winner of each class. And that goes along with the other plates that are given out in karting, like the GP for Grand Prix, the O plate for our Open Championship and so on. And the E is for the English Championship, so that's what it stands for. It's a new one the MSA have decided on.
And the kart club here, Shenington Kart Racing Club, one of the most successful clubs in the country. There's a lot of dedicated people behind that success. Just tell us why you are so successful. It's a great location, obviously, here.
Yes, it's a good location in the Midlands. We've got about 250 members here with their own karts. We're not a commercial circuit, so we don't get income from, weekly events. It's all down to our club members, non-profit making. Everything we make goes back into the club facilities.
And looking around, seems to be a lot of people here this weekend, something like 280 entries?
Yes, we've had a tremendous response, as you say, about 280 entries, because we've got the guest championships from the Super 1 series for the British Kart Championships, and we've got the guest 250 national and 125 gearbox classes for the Super 4 series, as well as the 210 nationals. So it's a tremendously big meeting, and you'll see the paddock's absolutely packed with people, anything from little dad and lad of outfits with vans or little trailer to big motorhomes and big vans.
Graham Smith there was talking about the British Historic Kart Club marquee. I'm in the marquee now. Every year some amazing karts turn up here from the early 1960s, the very early days of karting. And this year there's a couple of new examples. And earlier I spoke to the chairman of the British Historic Kart Club, Tony Brinkworth. Tony, you're the chairman of the British Historic Kart Club, and
correct, yes.
This meeting always has the Historic Kart Club marquee, lots of historic karts, a couple of significant ones this weekend. Tell us about this one. This looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, this is an American kart, and it's fairly typical of the kind of karts that started karting back in the 59-60. This is an early 60s kart. It's a go-kart 800, and that's really where the name go-kart comes from. The company picked it up as their name. It's got twin McCullochs on it, so it's a Class 2 kart, two 100cc McCullochs, and as you can see, it's an absolutely stunning example of what the Americans would have been using at the time.
It is. It's
beautifully
it's absolutely
made.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, really nice kart. Let's have a look at the kart that arguably is the most significant here this weekend. It's a classic, but it wasn't here last year. It's been recently restored by you, I think.
That's right, yeah.
And it's this one here, and this is really nice. Tell us something about the historical significance of this one.
Yes, this is a Techno Caimano Puma with a Perilla GP15L engine, and this is 1964. So it's really 1 or 2 years after the kart you saw down there. That kart had got the seat in the middle and the engines behind the seat. This was the first kart where the seat was put at the side of the seat and engine were put side by side. So seats over to the left, engines over to the right, which all karts today look like this. So every kart you see really originated from this basic design, and this was the first kart that did it. But not only that, you look at the quality of the build of this kart, it's just, from an engineering point of view, it's absolutely incredible. The amount of money that was spent on this in terms of the tooling and the development and everything else that went into this when the sport was only, what, 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
This kart won the first FIA Karting World Championship in 1964. They went on to win them again in 65 and again in 66. This was so dominant in the period. 18 out of the 24 finishers in the World Championships were driving these cars. They were just nothing else to touch them.
Okay.
And really it kept on like that for years.
And of all the karts in the marquee today, this your favourite?
Oh yes. I've had Technos before, but nothing to touch this in terms of the originality and the quality of this one. It's got all the correct parts on it, sort of exactly as it should be. So this is one I'm very pleased with.
And we don't see this one. This one's not for racing, but a lot of the karts in the marquee are still raced.
They are indeed. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I race a Borlotti Monza, for example, which is similar to the kart third along here now. This red one down here. I race one of those at the moment, and in the vintage class. British Historic Kart Club don't run the racing. That's run by a sister club, Retro Racer, and they run racing for all of the different classes, both gearbox karts and direct drive karts, in vintage, historic, classic karts, and international. So all the different age groups they run, and both direct drive and class 4.
Tony, thanks very much.
You're very welcome.
We'll continue to come back year after year and be enthralled by some of the classic karts that you've got on display. They are absolutely stunning. It's a real fantastic history lesson for all the kids that are here this weekend as well, to come along and have a look at the old karts.
That's right. We get a lot of interest from them, and it's a real joy to see particularly the junior drivers coming along and saying, is this what you really used to drive, you know?
Well, that's a look at the classic karts. We've got more classic karts on the grid now. The 210 National, the E-plate grid positions on your screen now, with Dan Berry, the O-plate on pole. Tom White alongside. Tony Berry's also on the front row, not quite 2x2, 3x2x3 this grid. They're underway and running down to turn 1. Somebody got away slow. That's a 56 kart of James Green, certainly not driving like Jamie Green.
So through the first corner for the first time and up through Cafe Corner, down the straight they go, and already Tom White is building a bit of an advantage. I have to say, great to be here for the Superprix. I missed it last year. I was abroad, unfortunately, dealing with the dreaded C word. As up the inside, the number 6 tries to make the move there, Chris Callahan, as he goes for second position up towards the Bruno Ferrari chicane. I should clarify, when I talk about the C word, I'm of course mentioning car racing. You don't like it very much at all, do you, Alan?
Another pound in the jar.
Another pound
in the jar for mentioning the word.
Sorry, apologies. But this is a great run from Tom White. In second position, Tony Berry looking good in second place. But look at the advantage already pulled out by Tom White. He's looking to stamp his authority on this one with the O-plate of Dan Berry in front of Chris Callahan as they scrap away for third position. Make that second as up the inside. 2 places lost there for Tony Berry by the look of it as they go through Cafe Corner for the second time. Yes, Berry down in 4th position, a little way in front of Adam Woodward in 5th position.
Up the straight, the karts go all the way to the top of the straight. The yellow flag, there's a cut off in the hairpin there. You see the yellow flag, Lionel Sifleet out of the race, the 86 karts.
That was very close actually, because it looked to me as though Chris Callahan was making the overtake on Dan Berry, and he suddenly realised at the last minute, there's a yellow flag, back out of it. Otherwise he knew he was going to get a penalty for that, so he manages to back out of the chase, but that's held him up a little bit. Look, the O-plate, Dan Berry, has used that to his advantage and has actually tried to get away. This is heaven sent for Tony Berry, as he now gets an opportunity to move up to 3rd position, so that little yellow flag that was critical in the way that this race might play out.
Yes, yellow flags in this sport, you do get penalised, unlike certain other races I will mention, Formula One, for example, and Nico Rosberg setting purple sectors under double waved yellows and then saying, well, I just blipped the throttle, came round the corner and just went back on the throttle, when Alonso, had he still been on the track around the right-hander, would have been right in the middle of the track. I'm not getting upset.
Think of your blood pressure. Think of your blood pressure. Focus on the things you love. Don't worry about it. Third position. Still this fantastic battle for third place with Tom White trying his best to stretch out the advantage more and more all the time. Second place, the O-Plate Dan Berry in front of Chris Callahan, as the 46 of Tony Berry tries to stretch out the advantage from Woodward. In sixth place now it is the 20 of Neil Hancock. And look at that advantage. It is going all guns blazing for Tom White here as he continues to hold this advantage out front.
Can I mention the yellow flags at Formula One again, Jake? And I'll tell you why I want to mention it. Because, and Lewis Hamilton sort of intimated this, it's because Formula One and the likes of Charlie Whiting and the Formula One drivers have a responsibility to everybody. Lewis mentioned the lower formulas, he never mentioned karting, but this is where the kids start, and Formula One has a responsibility to the kids to make sure that yellow flags are being adhered to and are being seen to be adhered to. Back here though at Shenington, the action is coming thick and fast. 56 locking up there, that's James Green.
Makes the move on Adrian Watkins. You bear the proper tyre screech there as the battle behind the leader is getting pretty close as well. The O-Plate in Dan Berry through in second place, but third position very much up for grabs, led by Chris Callahan. Tony Berry is in the mix, so too Adam Woodward, who's now come through into fourth position. Sixth place is Neil Hancock, so those four drivers scrapping away down the back straight there on the previous lap. I wonder if Woodward is going to be able to push for the podium here. He goes to the left, he might be able to do this at the braking zone, round the outside. He's going to get there, he's got good drag off the corner. Woodward's going to get into third position, he's done it. Absolutely cracking drive from Woodward down in the braking zone for the hairpin. I never would have thought anyone could get through there in a month of Sundays.
Cracking drive by Adam Woodward. It's a cracking circuit this, particularly this long circuit that the gearbox karts take. We'll see the direct drive karts later on, the karts with centrifugal clutches as well, taking part on this track in the later races in this programme, but they'll be taking the first hairpin, and the 6 kart Callahan looks like he's got a problem. He is retired.
Well, Chris Callahan out of the race, but this man, Tom White, marching on to a solid victory in fine Vettel. He's going to get out of the final turn with a country mile on the rest of the field, and the fastest lap as well. A new event record too, 52.26. He dominates here at the Superprix. An absolutely brilliant result in the E-Plate contest, and he is the new E-Plate. Dan Berry in second from Adam Woodward, Tony Berry in fourth, Neil Hancock in fifth position, and Stuart Henry in sixth position. Great job then in the first race of the day here at the Shenington Superprix. Honda Cadets are up next. The stars of the future are going to give us some great action around Shenington.